Their two wingers, Paul Simpson at number 7 and Peter Barnes at number 11, but they're part of a 5-man midfield tonight with number 10 Paul Stewart, signed recently from Blackpool, starting as the only out-and-out striker. That's Jimmy Frizzell's attempt to counter the very same system that Tottenham have used so effectively this season. Their Lone Ranger, Clive Allen, has 45 goals, more than the whole City side have managed between them. There are 2 changes from the semi-final team. Injuries to Ozzy Ardiles and Chris Hughton mean recalls for Nico Klassen and Gary Stevens. Spurs' other fullback, Mitchell Thomas, will be keen to enhance his England claims in the light of Kenny Sansom's injury, while behind him, Ray Clements tonight reaches the monumental milestone of 1,098 senior games, equalling the British career record set by Pat Jennings. Referee is Dennis Hedges from Oxford, and it's City in sky blue playing from right to left. For Tottenham, the start of a spell in which they'll play 4 First Division matches in the next 8 days, 3 of them away. And this, not one of their luckier grounds. Only 1 league win here for Tottenham in 15 years. Klassen. Oh, and Gidman. And Allen and Klassen again. City in a bit of a mess there. And Klassen battles away. 3 waiting in the centre for a cross still. And a chance for Hodge, and an offside flag which would have ruled out the effort anyway. Steve Hodge had the header. But initially there, John Gidman running back as Klassen challenged. Got into a bit of a mix-up with his goalkeeper. And that man, Clive Allen, wasn't far away from the scramble that followed. Oh, and Barnes got away from Gary Stevens. Goff has come across, and Barnes was fouled by him. Well, Peter Barnes is capable of some old-fashioned wing play, and for the foul on him, Richard Goff is being booked. It was impetuous more than anything else, that challenge, but it does give, apart from a caution for the Tottenham captain, it gives Clements and McCarthy a chance to come forward on the far side of the area for Manchester City. Stewart is also in that region. But it's played for Wilson. And Varady was waiting on the near post, and now it's a corner. So the 2 centre-backs will stay forward. And the whistle goes almost at once. I suspect they're in the 6-yard area. Imre Varady was pulled up for impeding either Clements or a defender. And that poor kick picked up by Stewart. Barnes, Langley, and now Glenn Hoddle. McNabb. Space at last. Varady. Varady still the best effort so far. Good individual run by Ray Varady, that. A match which has been short of shots so far. He forced Clements into a decent save. Varady playing a little deeper than normal tonight, behind Stewart. And John Gidman, speaking out of turn to the referee, becomes the second player to be cautioned. There seems to be a lack of urgency about Spurs just at the moment. Some reaction may be setting in after the euphoria of the weekend. There's Langley. Another attempt to bring the winger into the game. But it may be Verratti that comes into it. That was given to him, really, by Nico Klaassen, who wasn't too sure what he was doing there in his own half. And Verratti not slow to take advantage. The best shots at the moment are coming from this fellow, and the better football so far from City. Spurs finding it hard to lift themselves after the semi-final at Villa Park. There's a poor pass from Goff. City have certainly made more of their possession. This is McNabb finding Clements. Gidman has pushed forward in this attack. That was Simpson looking for Stewart. Goff's header. Here's Langley. McNabb. Wilson. Barnes. Still Barnes. Nothing given. The referee had a quick look, but didn't feel that that challenge by Steve Hodge on Peter Barnes was in fact a foul. City have gone to protest, but it's to no avail. An enticing run, though, by Peter Barnes there. Here's Clive Allen. Well, McNabb is a growing influence in the midfield here. This is Verratti. Took a little knock in the face from Goff there, Verratti. This is Barnes. Square to McNabb. Blocked by Mabbott. Came out to Simpson. McNabb again. Barnes coming in. Onside. No. Penalty. Well, Barnes got the other side of Gary Stevens, and just when he looked as though he might finish it, he was impeded, and a penalty has been given. And Neil McNabb has a great chance here to put City into the lead. And he does so with a very tidy penalty. The former Spurs player scores a goal which could mean an awful lot to Manchester City. And that is a fair reflection of the first half, because the home side have done far more in the way of attacking. And if the goal came from the penalty spot, I don't think Tottenham can have too many complaints about going one down. Well, Manchester City needed some good fortune, and Peter Barnes, recalled tonight, certainly made the run which led to that penalty. The linesman spotting the offence, and Neil McNabb obliging from the spot 5 minutes before half-time. Tottenham, their old player, the scorer, didn't do themselves justice in a largely uneventful first half. Well, the last time Manchester City won a league match, back on January the 3rd, Neil McNabb's penalty gave them victory over Oxford. Tonight, his kick from the spot after 40 minutes has given them a valuable lead against Tottenham. And if Spurs are going to take the championship seriously, they'll need to improve on that first half display. They began tonight 10 points behind Everton with 2 matches in hand. Defeat here could well end that challenge. Here's Gidman. This is the second of 3 successive home games for City. They lost to Southampton on Saturday, and they play Watford here next Saturday. And after that, only 5 matches left. So things are pretty desperate. Well, how badly Manchester City need 3 points here. It can't be overstressed. So it's a priceless lead they hold for the moment. Little stamping in there by Paul Allen. Whichever way you look at this match, the result has to have significance at both ends of the table. And that was a trip by Steve Hodge on Paul Simpson. The referee wants words. Hodge, who came here after a string of bookings with Nottingham Forest. He's only had one since before tonight, but this is another one now. Although I believe he's past the point where he'll have to serve a suspension this season. So I don't think there's any fear of him missing the FA Cup final. Usually it's a sending off which precipitates that danger at this stage of the campaign. Stewart and McCarthy are waiting. McNabb has seen Langley coming forward. Gary Stevens, the player who took a knock, the player indeed who gave away the penalty, is coming off, his fellow with injuries. And he'll be replaced by Mark Bowen, who many viewers will remember playing at fullback in the first team, but who's actually a prolific goal scorer these days in midfield for the football combination side at White Hart Lane. So my feeling is Paul Allen may go to right back, and Bowen, number 12, in the middle of the field. Bowen. And here's Glenn Hoddle. Spurs are pushing 1 or 2 more forward now. Bowen's there. Mitchell Thomas. But no question that City are well aware what's at stake here. They're fighting for their First Division lives. Clive Allen. Oh, I say there's some space for Hodge over there, and Classen's in the centre. Diving header out, and Allen following up. That was Paul Allen. And City, with him out of the right-back position, can force their way forward with Barnes. Now then, what does the referee do? That's Richard Gough, who's already been booked, the Tottenham captain. Now, a dilemma perhaps for Dennis Hedges. Not vicious, but deliberate. And he gets a last warning. Tries a shot. And Ray Clements distinguishes himself on this record-equaling evening with a good reaction save. Might have been commonplace by his standards, but certainly it was a good drive by Gidman. Clements making a run across the box here. McCarthy is coming in too, just brushed his head. This is Simpson. And up they go again. Clements is still there. So is McNabb. Oh, I say that's a good ball. This is Simpson. In by Langley. And McNabb again, robbing Paul Allen. And Stewart. And tucked back by Hodge. McNabb again, the inspiration. What a match he's having for City. Just look at that. Klassen. Oh, lovely turn of pace by Nico Klassen. And Clements and Klassen. Well, from one end to the other. Could have been 2-0. There again, it might have been 1-1. Klassen suddenly showed a turn of speed which could have changed the game. And had Kenny Clements not cut out his first cross, the inevitable Clive Allen was lurking for number 46. Goff. But Klassen's showing some touches now. Bowen. Clive Wilson. Stewart. Needed to go out to Barnes, really. First touch let him down. This is Hoddle. Berardi got ahead to it, but it's only to Waddle. Hodge moving forward to join Allen in the centre. And there he is! Hodge. Perry Suckling, who hasn't had much to do, denied Steve Hodge what looked like a certain equaliser. So the warning is there for City. It's a corner. Waddle will take it. Hodge is still in there, so is Klassen and Allen. Bowen. That's too long for Goff. One of the reasons why Steve Hodge is a player so many managers admire, including Bobby Robson, is that he does get into the penalty area at telling times from midfield, and that was a classic example. But he was denied by an extremely good save from the England under-21 goalkeeper Perry Suckling, who was actually born just a few miles from the Spurs ground. Abbott forward, and Klassen, he gets half a yard. We'll test this back four. It's happened once. And City have got to be on their guard. That was a foul by Paul Stewart. Well, bear in mind, it's over 3 months, City won a league match. And highly critical to their hopes of survival that they hang on here, but that handball by Neil McNabb has put them in a defensive position. And Spurs are starting to believe that they can get something out of this match. And Hoddle finds Mitchell Thomas, and that's dangerous, and it's gone in. Nico Klassen. Well, Klassen has run into a bit of form in this second half, and City left the defence decidedly undermanned. Mitchell Thomas moving up on the left. Klassen got himself unmarked and knocked the cross in. His 10th goal of the season. It came a quarter of an hour from the end and has put a very different complexion on an evening that looked to be going City's way until about 10 minutes ago, when Tottenham suddenly got their game together, and that is the result. Well, that does mean that City have to start all over again in the widest sense, because what looked like 3 points would now only be 1 if the score stayed as it is, And that's not enough from this home game as far as they're concerned. Hoddle. This is Goff. Well, it took Spurs 3/4 of the match to warm up, but now that they've done so, they're playing more like a team with an interest still in the Championship. And they'll be thinking now, could we make this 3 points? That was Bowen, this is Hoddle. And the floater. Berardi's in the centre here, and it came off Mitchell-Thomas. All rather untidy, but it's certainly given Chris Waddle the chance to break out for Spurs. And Richard Goff, and now the confidence is running through the Tottenham team, and maybe draining away from City. Allen on the attack there. Paul Allen, that was. And the somewhat crude challenge by Mick McCarthy has put City in another defensive position. Goff was there, and this time the referee blows. There was a bit of a shove on the ball as it came over, and I think it was that first challenge that was penalised, although when Clive Allen volleyed it in, he may well have been offside. It's Thomas. And this is Mabbott. And the City crowd whistling anxiously. This is Waddle. Clive Allen's on the far side of the area waiting. Mabbott has joined him now. And you could say that result was not ideally what either club needed. Manchester City felt they had to win this home game in their struggle against relegation, but Nico Klaassen made sure they didn't with a second-half equaliser for Tottenham, who themselves realistically wanted 3 points here to cut back the gap between themselves and Everton. So in the end, the ambitions of both teams denied. City certainly played the better football in the first hour. Tottenham, who fell behind to McNabb's penalty, then discovered something of their authentic form. And one would feel that that has left City still in grave danger and has made Tottenham less likely to do the League and Cup double.